going on, Jerome? So the first 4 days of Minnesota Vikings training camp are in the books. First full padded practice is tomorrow on Monday. So as of right now, there's been some risers, there's been some fallers, but here is our 53-man rooster projection for the Vikings after 1 week of training camp. Now, yes, it is still too early, and yes, we're still a couple weeks removed from the first preseason game in Seattle, and hell, we haven't even had the first padded practice, but also don't care. Hashtag content. There you go. Quarterbacks. So Cousins, Mullins, and Jaron Hall. Now, I think all three do make the active 53, where generally teams keep 2 and sometimes 1 on the practice squad, especially with the new practice squad rules. But I think that Jaron Hall has done enough to be on the 53. And even though you can protect players on the practice squad, they have to get through waivers the first time around at 53 cut down. So I don't think that they're going to risk it. I think Jaron Hall has had some downs, but he certainly had a lot of ups as well. And Nick Mullins is certainly your capable veteran backup quarterback. Next up, into the running back room. So keeping all 4 of the tailbacks, Madison, Chandler, Kinkenny, Dwayne McBride, the rookie 7th-round pick from UAB, as well as C.J. Ham. And then Zach Ogili, the box says Ogili, makes the practice squad as well, the first of the 16 members on the squad, which we'll recap at the end. Oh, to recap, so it's roster, practice squad, and cut. I mean, feels pretty straightforward. Wide receivers, 5 on the roster. JJ just makes it. Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne, Jalen Naylor, who hopefully can get back on the field, showed well day 1 as well as at OTA as a mandatory minicamp. Has had a minor injury since then. Jalen Reagor, I think that he's definitely doing himself some favors, man. He's showing off that explosiveness. He looks a lot more confident in the playbook this season with a full offseason in it. So I think that he is vying to stay on this roster as well as re-secure the punt return position. 3 on the practice squad. So I got Brandon Powell, Lucky Jackson, and UDFA Thayer Thomas. Now, Thayer Thomas potentially could be the punt returner of the future down the line. I think Powell does a little bit of everything, including special teams, as well as being a solid receiver despite being 5'8". And Lucky Jackson, the pride of the XFL, I think that he has shown enough that he certainly makes things interesting. Now, you could swap out Jackson's. I think Christian Jackson has shown a little bit of life as well. Maybe he gets on the practice squad. Who knows? But also, we got cuts. Garrett Mogg, Sifis Johnson III. Malik Knowles is currently on injured reserve out of Kansas State, as well as Blake Prohl. Even though a voice of an angel, it's going to be really tough to either roster or make the practice squad. The Vikings receiver room, super deep. Like sneaky deep. Tight ends. So 3 on the rooster, 2 on the practice squad, and 1 is cut. So TJ Hawkinson, Josh Oliver formed the best tight end duo in the league. I mean, Hawkinson, Oliver, and Munt may be the best triumvirate. It's possible. And even though Josh Oliver's in the building, Johnny Munt has been getting some run with the ones. Had himself a nice red zone touchdown from Kirk the other day. Nick Muse, last year's 7th-round pick, as well as the veteran Colin Thompson, shoring up the practice squad. Cut is UDFA Ben Sims. And then for the offensive line, keep a 9 on the roster. Darisaw, Ezra, Bradbury, Ed Ingram, Brian O'Neill is your starting 5. Brandel, Schlutman, Bobby Evans, hey Bobby, as well as Oli Udo round out your 53-man rooster. On the practice squad are swing tackle Vidarian Lowe. Now, he did have a minor injury that he walked off on the field on Saturday. Hopefully he's back, as well as Jackie Chen, our guy, the pride of pace. Sets the pace setter, man, coming in as a UDFA, as well as Jack Snyder, the Snyder Cut, the pride of San Jose State, making a statement and getting onto the practice squad. And also, it's important that all 3 of them do have positional flexibility. Cut is Josh Sokol, last year's UDFA from Sacred Heart, Alan Ali from TCU, Sam Schluter, former Gopher, as well as Chris Reed, currently on the NFI. Maybe that carries over to the regular season. Defensively, so along the defensive line, we got Harrison Phillips, Kyrus Tonga, Dwayne McBride. All right, Kyrus Tonga, Dean Lowry, James Lynch, Jaqueline Roy, and Asezi Otamuo as your starters, or not starters, but big in the 53, as well as 2 in the practice squad, Ross Blacklock, the former TCU stud, 2nd-round pick through the Vikings traded for, as well as UDFA Calvin Avery, making the practice squad, another true blue nose tackle, having some size at that zero tech spot. Cut, TJ Smith, Jonathan Bullard, the veteran, as well as Sheldon Day. On the edge, so on the edge, we got Daniil, the real deal Hunter. Oh, just got paid. He's back, man. I do think that Hunter and Davenport will make a nice 1-2 combination on the edge. DJ Wonnum in a contract year is also going to get a couple snaps here or there. I think that he could potentially thrive, especially given his versatility. Patrick Jones as well as Andre Carter. Carter is currently on the PUP list, but I think that he will eventually come off and get some run in preseason and training camp and facilitate that 53-man roster spot. 2 on the practice squad, Luigi Villain, former UDFA last year out of Wake Forest, who's on the 53 all last year. Junior Aho, now remember, Junior, since he's an international pathway player, doesn't count on the practice squad, so the Vikings technically have 17 members on the practice squad, and cut are Curtis Weaver and Benton Whitley. Linebackers, so keeping 4 off balls. Asamoah, Jordan Hicks, Ivan Pace Jr. already running with the 2s, as well as the veteran special teams backup Troy Dye. William Kwenku, our guy from Temple, UDFA last year, ends up on the practice squad. And then cut the veteran Troy Reeder, and the 2 UDFAs, Abraham Beauplan, as well as Wilson Huber. Cornerback-wise, so the cornerback competition is actually going to be pretty good, man. But starters, Murphy, Joanne Williams, Caleb Evans, although Booth did get in there a little bit with the ones on Saturday. Rookie Mekhi Blackman can play inside, outside. I think that's a very strong front 5. And then on the practice squad, Jalen Williams, the UDFA slot corner out of Indiana, who's been running with the 2s. Najee Thompson has been making the most of his opportunities, got himself an interception on Saturday. And then cut are Tay Gowan, speedster Kalam Barnes, and UDFA CJ Colden. Lastly, safeties. Ooh. Too much. Harrison Smith, Cam Beasy, Josh Metellus, Lewis C. and Jay Ward. That is a studly first 5, man. I mean, the Vikings may have the deepest running back room, wide receiver room, and safety room. And the cornerback room doesn't look too bad either, even though there's a lot of unknowns. Theo Jackson, who played some good special teams last year, is making the practice squad. And then finally the specialists. So you got Greg Joseph retaining the kicking position. Jack Podlesny, the UDFA out of Georgia. Is let go, although he could be on the practice squad. And they got Wright and DePaula. Then for the practice squad, so here are your 17 on the practice squad, which... There you go. Move that up. All right, so Thayer Thomas, Brandon Powell, Lucky Jackson. Ooh, he is for real. Zach Ogili. That's Fragile. Nick Muse, Colin Thompson, offensive lineman Vidarian Lowe, Jackie Chen, Zach Snyder, the Snyder Cut, Ross Blacklock, Calvin Avery, Luigi Villain, Kwenku, Junior Aho, international pathway player, as well as in the secondary, you got Jalen Williams, Najee Thompson, and Theo Jackson. But that is it. That is a look at the Vikings 53-man rooster projection after the first week of practice. Talk about practice at training camp. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Where do you agree? Where do you disagree? Let us know. But until next time, Skull Production Value.